Good evening, friends, fiends, and night owl supremes. Welcome to A Bit Late. I hope you're doing all right this evening. I myself am doing quite okay, and I do hope you're in the mood for a story that may be quite familiar to you. Tonight, we're delving into Rapunzel. So get comfy, get cozy, get whatever you need assembled to be in that state, and let's settle in for the Brothers Grimm's Rapunzel. There was once a man and a woman who had long in vain wished for a child. At length, the woman hoped that heaven was about to grant her desire. These people had a little window at the back of their house from which a splendid garden could be seen. It was full of the most beautiful flowers and herbs. It was, however, surrounded by a high wall, and no one dared to go into it because it belonged to a witch, who had great power and was dreaded by all the world. That is quite a reputation that witch has, but also it's probably not a good idea to just break into someone's garden and steal their herbs and plants. I don't know, just saying. One day, the woman was standing by this window and looking down into the garden when she saw a bed which was planted with the most beautiful rampion, Rapunzel, and it looked so fresh and green that she longed for it and had the greatest desire to eat some. Now, in this story, it doesn't say that she's already pregnant and is craving it, it just says that she wants it. This desire increased every day, and as she knew that she could not get any of it, she quite pined away and looked pale and miserable. Then her husband was alarmed and asked, "What ails you, dear wife?" "Ah," she replied, "if I can't get some of the rampion to eat, which is in the garden behind our house, I shall die." Wow, that's quite melodramatic. The man who loved her thought, "Sooner than let your wife die, bring her some of the rampion yourself, let it cost you what it will." In the twilight of the evening, he clambered over the wall into the garden of the witch, hastily clutched a handful of rampion and took it to his wife. She at once made herself a salad of it and ate it with much relish. She, however, liked it so very much, that the next day she longed for it 3 times as much as before. That's a lot more. If he was to have any rest, her husband must once more descend into the garden. What's so wrong about knocking on the witch's door and asking her to buy some, though, or asking to borrow some? Like, don't neighbors ask for cups of sugar and such? I'm sure she could part with a few leaves if she was asked. Just saying. I would probably do that. Whatever, doesn't matter. Continuing on, it's a fairy tale. In the gloom of the evening, therefore, he let himself down again. But when he had clambered down the wall, he was terribly afraid, for he saw the witch standing before him. Ta-da-da. "How dare you," she said with an angry look, "descend into my garden and steal my rampion like a thief? You shall suffer for it." "Ah," answered he, "let mercy take the place of justice. I had to do it out of necessity. My wife saw your rampion in the window and felt such a longing for it that she would have died if she had not got some to eat." Then the witch let her anger be softened, and she said to him, "If the case be as you say, I will allow you to take away with you as much rampion as you will. Only I make one condition." Always be careful about the conditions. "You must give me the child which your wife will bring into the world. It shall be well treated, and I will care for it like a mother." The man in his terror consented to everything, and when the woman at last had a little daughter, the witch appeared at once, gave the child the name of Rapunzel, and took it away with her. I know that the husband was probably acting out of love to give his wife what she wanted, but they also really wanted a child, so why would he just give that away? He could have been like, "No, the salad is not worth it. Thanks, though." Anyway, Rapunzel grew into the most beautiful child beneath the sun. When she was 12 years old, the witch shut her into a tower, which lay in a forest and had neither stairs nor door. But quite at the top was a little window. When the witch wanted to go in, she placed herself beneath this and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down thy hair." Rapunzel had magnificent long hair, fine as spun gold. And when she heard the voice of the witch, she unfastened her braided tresses and wound them round one of the hooks above the window. And then the hair fell 20 ells down, and the witch climbed up by it. After a year or two, so Rapunzel's 13, it came to pass that the king's son rode through the forest and went by the tower. Then he heard a song which was so charming that he stood still and listened. This was Rapunzel, who in her solitude passed her time in letting her sweet voice resound. The king's son wanted to climb up to her and look for the door of the tower, but none was to be found. This is probably exactly why there are no doors and stairs, good sir. He rode home, but the singing had so deeply touched his heart that every day he went out into the forest and listened to it. Once, when he was thus standing behind a tree, he saw that a witch came there, and he heard how she cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down thy hair." Then Rapunzel let down the braids of her hair, and the witch climbed up to her. "If this is the ladder by which one mounts, I will for once try my fortune," said he. The next day, when it began to grow dark, why did he wait for dark, I wonder? He went to the tower and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down thy hair." Immediately, the hair fell down and the king's son climbed up. Why? But it wasn't the witch's voice, clearly, unless he imitated it very well. So maybe she wanted a visitor. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it though, because at first Rapunzel was terribly frightened when a man, such as her eyes had never yet beheld, came to her. But the king's son began to talk to her quite like a friend. So he's overfamiliar, cool, and told her that his heart had been so stirred, I'm sure, that it had let him have no rest, and so he was forced to see her. That is quite strong language, sir, for just hearing a voice in the woods. Then, for some reason, Rapunzel lost her fear, and when he asked her if she would take him for her husband, oh wow, that was fast, and she saw that he was young and handsome, she thought, he will love me more than old Dame Gobble does. And she said yes, and laid her hand in his. And we talk about this on the Bit Frank channel. Wow, I'm not sure what the laying her hand in his means, or if that's indicative of something else, but gotta love the logic leaps in this. She is young, and I know people got married young back in the day, but come on. From never seeing someone else besides Dame Gobble to being in this much of a commitment seems like a big deal. Just saying. Maybe that's the mama bear in me coming out though. I don't know. Let's continue, shall we? She said also, "I will willingly go away with you, but I do not know how to get down. Bring with you a skein of silk every time that you come, and I will weave a ladder with it. When that is ready, I will descend, and you will take me on your horse." So maybe she is buying time, rather than having him bring one rope one time. She'd like to consider her decision. Maybe that's the case. Or maybe she really likes yarn and making things with it. They agreed that until that time he should come to her every evening, for the old woman came by day. The witch remarked nothing of this until once Rapunzel said to her, "Tell me, Dame Gothel, how it happens that you are so much heavier for me to draw up than the young king's son. He is with me in a moment." Ooh, so I should say some versions of the tale, Rapunzel asks Dame Gothel why her clothes are so tight around her belly now. Which, that's, use your imagination. "Ah, you wicked child," cried the witch. "What do I hear you say? I thought I had separated you from the world, and yet you have deceived me." Pause, hold up. Communication is so important. Fairy tales don't do it. If Dame Gothel had told her why she was locked up, maybe the story would have turned out very different, but maybe then we wouldn't have had a story. In her anger, she clutched Rapunzel's beautiful tresses, wrapped them twice around her left hand, seized a pair of scissors with the right, and snip, snap, they were cut off, and the lovely braids lay on the ground. And she was so pitiless that she took poor Rapunzel into a desert where she had to live in great grief and misery. On the same day, however, that she cast out Rapunzel, the witch, in the evening, fastened the braids of her hair which she had cut off to the hook of the window. And when the king's son came and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down thy hair," she let the hair down. The king's son ascended. He did not find his dearest Rapunzel above, but the witch, who gazed at him with wicked and venomous looks. As well she may. "Aha," she cried mockingly, "you would fetch your dearest, but the beautiful bird sits no longer singing in the nest. The cat has got it and will scratch out your eyes as well. Rapunzel is lost to you. You will never see her more." I do like how she compares herself to a cat though, that's pretty cool. The king's son was beside himself with grief and, in his despair, leapt down from the tower. He escaped with his life, but the thorns into which he fell pierced his eyes. Then he wandered quite blind about the forest, ate nothing but roots and berries, and did nothing but lament and weep over the loss of his dearest wife. Thus he roamed in misery for some years, and at length came to the desert where Rapunzel lived in wretchedness. He heard a voice, and it seemed so familiar to him that he went toward it. When he approached, Rapunzel knew him and fell on his neck and wept. 2 of her tears wetted his eyes, and they grew clear again, and he could see with them as before. Oh, the magic of tears. He led her to his kingdom where he was joyfully received, and they lived for a long time, happily and contented. And apparently in this story, without 2 twin children, which is in a few other versions of the story. When the prince finds her in the desert, she has 7-year-old twins. Whoa, surprise. But anyway, that is the end of this particular telling of the Brothers Grimm's Rapunzel. I do hope you enjoyed the telling of it. I enjoyed telling it. And I hope that your mind is at peace and you are ready for your day, your night, your sleep, whatever you've got going on. Now off to sleep and dream what you will, or stay a while and enjoy another tale. Whichever you choose, I'll speak to you again. And until then, stay spooky, my friend. Good night.